Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your very first time here, hi, I am Elena, and this is the Organized Money. And this is a live class that we are doing today on the seven things that don't have anything to do with money, but have definitely helped me with my money. So, as you're coming in, please say hi in the chat box. Let me know where you're joining me from. Let me know if this is your very first class. And also, if you have any questions, make sure that you use hashtag Q, and I will be answering all of the questions at the end of today's session together. Okay, so I'm going to be wait to the end, and then we're going to answer all of the questions. But like I said, we're going to be talking about the seven things that don't have anything to do with money, but definitely help me with my money. This topic was actually inspired by a question. So initially, I got a question. It was over on Instagram, and someone asked me, why do I talk so much about planning? Like, why do I talk so much about planning and routines and other things? Because I'm a financial coach. So since I'm a financial coach, they just kind of felt like I should focus in on just money, but they felt like my content talked a lot about planning and other things as well. And so that sparked a real idea. So I did an Instagram reel on three things that I do consistently that don't have anything to do with money, but definitely help me with my money. And that reel did so well that I decided to make it into a class. So that's how we got here today. It all started from a question that ended up becoming a short form video, which is now going to be a long term video. That's why we're talking about this today. So, um, if you are brand new around here, welcome, LaDonna. I see this is your very first class. But if you're brand new around here, you've never seen me before, my name is Elena, and I do help people with budgeting on paper. So I am really big on helping people learn how to manage their money. I'm a financial coach, I'm a content creator, and I really do help people who struggle with budgeting and time management use a paper planner in order to organize their life. So that is the whole point of the Organized Money. And like I said, today we're going to be talking about the seven things that don't have anything to do with money, but still help me with my money. And welcome, Amers. I see we have a few newcomers. So thank you all so much for joining me. Also, if you don't know, I do have a group membership program called the Organize You. And I do have some courses. My Budget on Paper course right now is on sale. I did put the link in the top of the chat if you wanted to check that out as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the seven things that don't have anything to do with money, but definitely help me with my money. The very first one, you all saw it coming, is planning. Planning definitely has helped me with my money so much that it was the basis, the core of what I talk about on the Organized Money. Once I started my financial journey really didn't take off until I started writing things down. And not just writing them down every now and then, writing them down consistently on a consistent basis. So, of course, that means my budget planner became the hub of everything that I wanted to do with my financial life. And once I got consistent with my budget planner, once I decided that I was going to use a budget planner on a consistent basis, once I started to write down my expenses and check my account and review my budget within my planner and look at it on a daily basis, this is when everything started to change with my money. So I highly think that if you don't have a budget planner, you should definitely try it. But budget planning overall definitely helped me with my money. But that wasn't the only type of planning that helped me with my money. Of course, this one is probably the most obvious one, budget planning, but menu planning is another one. definitely helped me overall with my money, because once I was consistently writing down and planning out what we were going to eat, we spend tremendously less money on fast food and restaurants because we had a plan of the different things we were going to eat. We also made a consistent time frame to check what was already in our pantry, to check what was in the refrigerator, so that we didn't waste a bunch of food. So menu planning was definitely one of the things that transformed our finances and helped us save in the food category, because food for us, I don't know about y'all, but food for us is our top expense. This is the one that I'm going to, if we blow our budget, 98% of the time it's going to be because of food. So I'm really, really paying attention to our menu. And this definitely helped us overall stay on top of the different things that we were eating, and saved us so much money when it came down to groceries and everything else. The next one that I feel like most people may not be doing, but definitely helped me when it came down to my money, is family planning. So, family planning for us is planning out the different events that have to do with the kids, planning out events that have to do with us personally, just looking at the different things that's coming up on the calendar, all of the birthday parties, anything that could possibly cost us money, and planning out for those things. So I feel like we will look at our budget planner, and we will look at the bills that we will pay, and we may look at different things like food and gas and just random things that we may have to cover. But those events that come up out of the blue, when we have to go to dinner, or we have to buy a birthday gift, or we have to do something random, those things can really blow our budget if we're not paying attention to when they're coming around. So I have had, a friend call up for her daughter's birthday party, right? And now I have to bring my girls to the event. I have to pay for them to go to the event, if it's at a park or something like that. And I also have to get the kid a gift. So just thinking about all of those things ahead of time, thinking about the different events that you may have, thinking about all of the events that you may want to go to as a family, or any events that's coming up that, maybe at the end of the month, and they don't normally come up every single month. These things that randomly come up definitely should be within your family planning section. So, what I will do is I have a personal section within my planner, to where I will write down all the different things that's coming up. And then I will also add it within my budget planning section, so that I know, hey, we got these birthdays coming up. I need to make sure that I, have some money set aside, and I set a budget for those particular things. So staying on top of any type of family planning is another one. I like to plan all aspects of my life, because I feel like money kind of comes up in so many different areas of your life, like just thinking of the errands that you have to run, or thinking about your health and the different things that you need to do there. There's so many different areas that require money. So I like to plan them all out within my planner, and I'm going to be doing a full flip through again of my planner. I like to do these every like month to month and a half, to show you the different changes that I have made to my planner. And so that video will be coming out on Friday, where I just do a flip through of my planner and show you the current setup, and show you how I use it to help me with my money, to help you with my money. So we will definitely get into that. I see that you have a question. I am going to answer all the questions at the end. So I've started, but I did catch it. All right. Next one that helps me so much with my money: routines. Routines. I talk about routines and habits so much on my channel. I talk about them consistently because they have been a huge help when it comes down to my money and comes down to tracking my money on a consistent basis. So let's talk about the different routines. I'm going to talk about two different types that really do help me overall with my money. And of course, the very first one is going to be my money routine. Because if you have a budget planner, the budget planner is just the very first part of your system. You're going to have a budget planner that you look into to track your expenses, to set up your budget, to make sure you're paying all your bills and checking things off and making sure that everything is in place. However, your routine is what determines the consistency of how often you're going to open up your planner. Your routines is what tells you when and how you need to look at your budget planner on the consistency that you have set. So, having a money routine is a huge part. It's like the routine and the planner go hand in hand. If I just had the planner and I didn't have a routine, then I might just look at my planner whenever I felt like it, but I wouldn't have a consistent time when I was actually checking my planner. So, my money routine, in which I do have five of them, I have a daily routine, I have a weekly one, a monthly one, a quarterly one, and an annual routine. And then I decide each day of the when I'm going to do each one of these routines. So, my weekly routine is usually done on a Sunday where I am just setting up the very next week, looking at everything that's coming up with our money and just having my plan in place. And then when I actually get paid on a Tuesday, I'm going to pay out all of the bills, check everything off, all of that. And then I also have a daily routine where I'm checking on the transactions, checking in on everything that is happening on a daily basis, and making sure I am not going over budget. So this consistently happens. Based on the time frame that I have set. Like I said, I will look at my money daily for about 10 to 15 minutes, but then I will also have a weekly routine that I'm going to do on a Sunday. I do my monthly routine around the last week of every single month. So you need to set those routines to make sure that you're going to actually look at your planner on a consistent basis. Having the planner without some type of routine is pretty much setting yourself up for failure, because you need a time frame where you're going to look at it to make sure that you stay consistent with it. I did do a class for the membership on how to create a money routine, and I do have some YouTube videos on this topic as well. So if you wanted to just get a peek at my money routine, just search how to create a money routine within my channel, and or you could just put it into YouTube and put the organized money afterwards, and you will see all of the videos that I have done on a money routine if you wanted to know how you could possibly do this process on your own. The other routine that I have that have nothing to do with money but have helped me so much with my money is my morning and my evening routine. Now, how does this help with my money? I feel as though whenever I do my morning and my evening routine, I stay on track. I just stay on track, and I don't usually impulse shop. I don't go veer off and start doing random things with my money, which I don't know if you don't have an evening routine and a morning routine. I feel like I would start scrolling on Instagram and then I would see something that I want and then I buy it, right? And it's because I am away from what I would normally do. So I start to react to different things that I see on Instagram or on Facebook, or I just start behaving in ways that are contrary to what I want. But when I set and I do my morning and my evening routine, I feel more on track. I feel more like, okay, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing and the person that I want to be. So I feel more in control over everything that I'm doing when I work out, and then I'm eating right. And then I feel like, well, I can't mess it up and just blow my budget, right? I'm on track. I'm doing well here. So there are so many different things, but I feel like personally, this sticking to my routines helps me overall stick to everything else. So whenever I stick to my routine, I stick to my budget. I just do. It works. It really, really works. So I do have a video on my evening planner routine, and I also have one on my morning planner routine to where you can see how I use my planner within both of these time frames. And so this will hopefully also give you an idea. And I may have even a video on my morning routine, period, like just the different things that I do within the morning. But once I get a good start to my day, if I am making the bed and I'm doing my cleaning and I, have my coffee, I'm looking at my planner and I look at my budget and I do all the things that I'm supposed to do, normally I stay on track for the rest of the day. I'm usually productive and I kind of stay on track. But when I don't do my routines, if I'm just kind of sluggish in the morning or I don't feel like it, usually my day kind of just gets away from me and I may end up spending money in a way that I didn't decide to do that. So having routines are like extremely helpful when it comes down to staying on top of your budget. The next one, rules. Rules. I love having small little rules that will help me stay on top of my money or stay on top of basically anything. And so with my rules, I do have some saving rules and and spending rules. So with my saving rules, it's things like keeping track of all of my ones or saving all of my fives, or I will make sure that I am completing a bingo chart game and I color in every time I am saving a certain amount of money. But having these rules set up of the different things that I'm going to do and saving 10% off the top of everything that I make, those little things that I have set up for myself helps me to actually do the things that I said I'm going to do, because it's like a small little reminder that I said I was going to save more money. It's a small little reminder that I said I was going to save this cash, or I say that I was going to save my ones, or I'm supposed to do my fives. It's a reminder that helps me to stay on track. And it's the same thing with spending rules. So I have certain spending rules, like I won't purchase my Amazon cart until Fridays. So I have to purchase it on a Friday toward the end of the week so I can make sure I didn't mess up my budget anywhere else. And then if I have some extra money, I might be able to get a few more things from Amazon, whatever the case may be. But not buying my cart every single time I add something to it helped me so much, because a lot of times I will go back to my cart and I'll be like, I don't want this. And I start deleting things. But if I purchase my cart as soon as I add things to the cart, then I know I would spend so much more money. So what I will do is I just add things to the cart throughout the week. And maybe for 2 weeks, just depending on what type of spending freeze I'm on. But I will add things to my cart and then I will review the cart at the end of the week. And then once I'm actually looking at it, I usually will change my mind about maybe about 70% of the things that's actually in my cart. So just having a little bit of rule there where I kind of pay attention to what I'm actually purchasing, and I just don't buy things on a whim, and I make myself be a little bit more disciplined. It helps me out so much to make sure that I don't end up just spending money needlessly, or just spending money on things that I just, that I really didn't really need or want, but I just wanted it at that very second, at that very, very second. So that's another one that I make sure that I try and just kind of keep on track. Now, I don't have a bunch of rules, I really don't, but I do have little things here and there that really help me to stay on top of it. Number 4, small thing that really helps me with my money: maintaining my car. Maintaining my car. So with my car, um, It really doesn't require much. I mean, we're talking about oil change, making sure I stay on top of my tires, I'm bringing it in, or just staying on top of it every couple of months. But this is something that I realized that if I stayed on top of just maintaining my car and bringing it in every time it needs to be serviced for an oil change or whatever, it saves me so much money in the long run, because when you ride on your car and you know it needs to be serviced, usually by the time it goes in, now you have some additional problems that you have to take care of. So, what I do is anytime my car really needs to go in, I try and do that right away. I try and do it right away. I don't wait. Okay, as soon as that oil change light comes on, okay, I need to schedule an appointment. I need to stay on top of that, because car maintenance can really cost you a nice amount of money. The same thing with our home maintenance. I would really try and stay on top of the maintenance. And even with my own personal health, so, we have a month. Usually, I will do it around the month of June or July, where I do all of our annual appointments, right? So the girls will go to the dentist, me and my husband, we will stay on top of our 6-month appointments with the dentist. We all do annual checkups, make sure everything's good, because these are things that can really end up costing you a lot in the long run if you just don't maintain them. So things like my body and my car and my home, and little things that, like, we have a pool. So I like really try and make sure that we stay on top of it and take care of the pool, because it's one thing that ends up spiraling into another. And now you have these really big maintenance bills, that you just have to take care of, because you didn't maintain or just life got in the way, right? And that happens. Life gets in the way, and sometimes we will be like, oh, I'm gonna take it in, and then we just keep pushing it back. But I really try my best to, as soon as I see it, I'm gonna just schedule it. Let me just hurry up and schedule that oil change, so that this doesn't end up becoming a long-term problem, later on. All right. So that's the fourth thing that I do. That's the fourth thing that I do is I maintain my car. The next one, a change in mindset. So I talk about mindset a lot. I do talk about mindset a lot. Just as much as I probably talk about routines and talk about planning, we talk about mindset, because if I always believe that I am going to be really bad with money, it's going to be difficult for me to make any type of changes, no matter what I am trying to do. We could get you the budget planner, we could do the courses, I could put you in the membership, we could have one-on-ones. But if you genuinely believe that you are bad with money, it's going to be very, very challenging to change that mindset. So we have to work on the mindset, the history, your money personality. What's going on that you feel as though you can't make any changes with your overall with your money? So there are a lot of books that I have read that helped me so much with my mindset. I did not feel as though I was bad with money. I just always felt like there wasn't enough of it. Like, I just genuinely believed that I had to hold on to every single penny that I had, because if I didn't hold on to it, I was never going to have enough. I was never going to be able to make enough. I was never going to get enough. And so that scarcity mindset that I had was holding me back from actually pursuing business. It was holding me back from trying to try different things out, or trying to buy basically anything. I would hyperventilate if I had to write a really big check, because I was so afraid of spending the money. So, what I really did in order to help me change this mindset, the scarcity mindset that I had, is I read a bunch of different books. I read so many books that helped me to kind of get over that overall mindset, that scarcity mindset, the fact that I thought nothing was ever going to, I was never going to make enough. So let me show you some of the books that I read. And these were some of the ones that were really, really pivotal to me. Now, um, some of them I read at the beginning of my journey. Some of them I have just read recently. Some of them I have reread and reread every single year because they were just that good. And it's just nice to have a refresher. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki was another one that really helped me with that overall scarcity mindset because of Poor Dad in the book. And I used to think like Poor Dad. And so this book really, really helped me with that. I Will Teach You to Be Rich. This one is another one that really helped me to frame my overall mindset of what's needed and what's not needed. Worth It by Amanda Steinberg. Love this book. This one is really geared toward females, the female mind, and how we will kind of mess ourselves up when it comes down to money and how we need to like basically reprogram ourselves. Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. He really does help with this overall how you think about money. The 10 distinctions between millionaires and the middle class. Now, this is a really, really short book. It's probably like less than 100 pages, but it's such a good book. It was such a good book. It just basically just breaks down the 10 differences between middle class and millionaires. And it's spot on. It's so spot on. So it's a really, really good one that I believe you should pick up as well. This is a new one that I just added, but it's Get Good with Money. I really, really love this one as well. Like I said, I just recently read this one. It was like at the end of last year, but a really great read. And also, We Should All Be Millionaires. Really love that one as well. Because in We Should All Be Millionaires, she really talks about the dynamics between working as a wife and a mother, and figuring out how you're going to work and balance all of the other things that you have to do, and kind of monitoring that guilt that we have a lot of times as working women. So she does talk about that as well. And the only one that's really just about like habits, but I love this book so much, is Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits by James Clear is an amazing book that if you want to learn how to really jump on and figure out how to adopt good habits, Atomic Habits is the way to go. I love The Power of Habit as well, but The Power of Habit really goes into like the science of how the mind works. Atomic Habits tells you the small things that you need to do to just basically make the changes that you need to make. So I love all of these books. If you are really trying to work on your mindset as far as making sure that you are thinking the way that you're supposed to be thinking when it comes down to money, if you find yourself negatively talking to yourself a lot about money or about planning or being organized or whatever the case may be, you have a lot of negative self-talk, then you want to get into these books. You want to get into podcasts. You want to get into YouTube videos. You want to start watching the things that's going to help you to change and reframe your thinking. So but once I got there, it was like I was a brand new person. So you definitely want to try and read some of these books if you are struggling with mindset, because mindset probably is the top thing that you can do that's really going to help you with your money. I know we have a list of 7, but mindset probably should have been number 1. Above planning, above routines, if you feel like you can't do it, then there's no point to any of it. You have to feel like you definitely can do it. I do agree with Total Money Makeover, Financial Peace, definitely are also 2 really good ones that can definitely help you with your overall mindset. All right, setting goals. So many times we will talk about setting goals. I feel like before I started setting goals within my planner and writing down the different things that I wanted to do with my overall finances, I felt as though I was just kind of saving to save. I didn't really have a solid purpose for why I was doing the things that I was doing. I just was just writing things down here. Like I was just saving or just doing things, budgeting here and there. Once I started to set goals, once I started to decide, okay, I am saving for my emergency fund in case I ever lose my job. Or I am trying to make sure that my kids can go to college. I'm trying to make sure that we can retire by the time it's time to retire, right? Like thinking through the why for all of the money things that I was trying to do helped me to be better with money. It helped me so much because instead of me just saving to save, I had a purpose behind each one thing that I was doing. I was really trying to get out of debt and I was trying to pay down a certain amount of debt by a certain time. And having that specific goal in front of me definitely helped me to be better when it came down to my money. So I did do a video on this because I love to do monthly goals. I really love monthly goals above any other type of goals. I mean, I also have some quarterly goals that are out there, and I do have some annual goals that I set. But I really like to focus in on like 4 goals for the month. And so I did a video on my March goals that are now on my YouTube channel. You can definitely watch that and watch the process of how I set up my goals because I don't just set them up and just decide. I do just decide. I decide what I want to do, but then I have another step where I will walk through the habit that I'm going to create in order to make sure I can achieve that goal. Because if I just set the goal, then that doesn't mean that I'm actually going to be working on it on a consistent basis. I need to have some type of daily habit in place to make sure that I'm actually going to achieve the goal that I have set for the month. So in that video on how to create monthly goals, I actually break down all of my March goals and I break down the daily habits that I have decided to do that's going to help me achieve those goals. So you can watch that video. It's going to help you create goals. And once you start creating goals on a consistent basis, it does help you to get better with your money. And number 7, communicating regularly. Communicating regularly. Of course, this is with my husband. This is really for all of us out there that have partners where we are living together. We may have the same bank account, maybe we don't. It doesn't matter as long as you are communicating with your partner. So we will do this in 2 different ways. We have day dates. So we have date nights and then we have day dates. It's 2 different things that me and my husband will do during our day dates, which is on a Friday. We normally will talk about like things that are coming up. We may be talking about where we are financially. We might be talking about different things that we want to do as a family. It's like we just are discussing different things that are coming up. When it's our date night, we usually don't. We usually will leave date night to just be relaxed and having fun. But our day dates, we will decide on different things that we may want to just talk about just because we need a break to just have time to just talk to each other about the different things that's coming up. So that's one way where we will discuss and just communicate about finances and different things. It's literally just us talking about family things together to make sure that we are on the same page. The other thing that we'll do to make sure we're on the same page is Sunday family meetings. So for us, this is after church. We'll usually be sitting around the dining room table about to eat lunch, and then we will just lightly talk about what's coming up in the very next week. My husband might be talking about the errands that he might have to run, or I'll be talking about the different things that I have to do. We kind of sync our calendar at this time to make sure that if I have to get the girls or he has to get the girls, we'll decide what our menu is going to be in this family meeting. And then we'll also decide who's going to cook when, right? So today is Monday. I usually will teach this class on a Monday. So my husband is going to cook on today. On when he has to teach a class for the church, then I'll cook on a day, so we will decide who's going to do what. and how our week is going to flow, usually during this Sunday meeting. So these are the 7 things. These are the 7 things that I will do on a consistent basis that really don't have anything to do with money, but definitely have helped us so much when it comes down to our money. I feel like once I had my mindset under control and I put my planning into rotation and my routines into rotation, and I was checking on my car, which once I had my planner in place, then I knew I could add my maintenance on a consistent basis. Like having all of these in place where I'm talking to my husband and making sure we're staying on top of all of these things definitely helped us overall with our organization, just like not feeling too stressed out about the different things that's coming up because I have an idea of everything that's coming up and I have kind of like a system in place so I can feel a little bit calmer. And it helped me with my money. It helped me so much with our money because I knew when things were coming up. I knew how much everything would cost. I saved for those things. I had time to save. And I felt like I was better and more ready and prepared for anything that came our way. Right? So, those are the 7 habits that don't have anything to do with money, but definitely help me with my money. I do have some additional classes or additional videos, I should say, that's coming up this week that I do believe will also help you. So, on Wednesday, we talked about mindset in this class. On Wednesday, I do have a video coming out that's going to be on the 7 signs that it's time to change your mindset. So, we were talking about mindset. You may feel like maybe you do have a good mindset, or you're not sure if you do have a good mindset or not. In this video on Wednesday, I am going to talk about the 7 signs that it's time that you need to change your mindset. That video will come out at 4 p.m., the exact same time as this class on Wednesday. And then Friday, I'm going to be sharing with you a current flip through of my actual planner. So I'm just sharing with you the changes that I have made with my planner and sharing with you how it is currently set up. I know I've talked a lot about how I use the meal planner, my family planner, and how I'm using all of these different sections in order to help me stay on top of my money. So in that video, I'm just going to be sharing with you a full flip through of the different things that I'm using, how it's currently set up, so that you can get an idea and hopefully it will help you with your own setup. I do this every month or so. I do a current flip and I have made some changes to my planner. So this planner flip will be a little bit different from my last one. So let's go ahead and get into some of your questions. Remember, if you have a question, please put hashtag Q so that I am able to answer any of your questions. All right, I'm gonna start from the very first one I saw. And this one says, struggling with cash envelope system. Once forgot I had cash and swiped my card. Next time took cash and had used part of it. Didn't have enough, so I swiped my card. What to do with the cash? So this has happened to us either when we don't have enough, or we either don't have enough, or we left it at home, which is the other thing that that has happened to us consistently. So anytime any of that happens, the very first thing that you need to do is see what the difference is, and how much you actually spent on your card. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll look and see, all right, if I use my credit card, how much was the total of that particular item that I was supposed to spend in cash? And then I will look at the total and I'll say, okay, how much cash if I have enough cash in order to cover the charge that I spent, I will deposit the cash. I'll go to the ATM, put the cash in the ATM, and then I will just pay off my credit card. Because usually when I'm spending money, I usually will be spending money on my credit card, and I will just replace that money with the cash if I did not have it on me, or like if I didn't have it on me and it was somewhere else and I needed to replace it and I have enough, I just deposit it, I pay off the card. The second option, the second thing that could possibly happen is you don't have enough. If you have a charge and you don't have enough, first thing that I would want you to do is try and see if you have another envelope that you can borrow from. If you have another envelope that you can borrow from, this means that you're not breaking your budget completely. You're just reducing the amount or the expense from another envelope. So if I have my grocery envelope and I have my shopping envelope, and my groceries end up being $300 and I thought it was going to be $250, I would take $50 from my shopping envelope, add it to my grocery envelope. So then that way I could still spend the cash that I have. If I don't have enough cash, let's say I don't have enough cash and I just blew the food budget. All right, cool. The first thing that I would do is take the cash that I have and pay off the difference with on the credit card. So you had 250 in cash, the bill was 300, you have to swipe your card. I would deposit the 250 and pay it off to where now you just have the $50. Now you're still over budget technically. If you can't borrow from another envelope, you're still technically over budget. But at this point, you can either decide, all right, are you going to roll that over into the next budget and try and pay it off within your next budget? Now, with mine, I must say, a lot of the time, mine is with my credit card. So being that I budget every single week, if I go over budget, it's going to be a balance on my credit card that I pay off in the very next week. I never let it linger more than that week. I will just put it as an expense on my next week's budget, like my overage. The fact that I went over budget is like a bill line item, it's a fixed expense that I will add on there. So what I'm saying, suggesting that you do is one of those items. Either you um, add it to your credit card, pay it off, or you take the cash and deposit it into the ATM and then use the cash to pay off the card. Let me know if that makes sense. All right, next question as you enter that. Do you have a workshop on rules or setting up rules? That's a very good question. I don't believe that I do. I don't believe that I do. But I will, it is something that we can definitely do within the Organize You and definitely talk about the different rules that I have set up and how I use them in order to stay on top of everything. But I don't think that I have anything currently on setting up rules and the different rules that you could possibly set up. So I will add that to my list of things that we can do, of classes, future classes that we can have. Okay. How would you use your planner in improving a positive mindset? So I love to journal. Journaling is a very, very big deal for me. And I love writing within my journal the different things that I am possibly working through. So I have two different types. I have my faith journal or my faith planner within my planner where I will journal out different things. And then I also have what I call my commonplace planner. I've talked about my commonplace planner. I've also done videos on my commonplace planner where I have dived into exactly how I use this planner in order to just help me to write things down that I want to remember. So anytime I'm reading a book that might be on mindset, I will add the notes from this book within into my planner so that I can reread those notes over and over and over again. And they really do help me to stay on top of it. They really, really do help me to stay on top of it. So I think that, let me Is the organized you good for Canadians too, or even your budget on paper? I feel as though, because when we're talking about budget on paper, we're talking about organized you. Both of these both of these things are across the board when we're talking about budgeting and planning and time management. It's not really just US based. We're talking about all the things that you're going to need to do to help you to use a paper planner to budget, if we're talking about the budget on paper course. So it really doesn't like, so yes, it goes across the board. It's not really divided into US versus Canada. You're able to go into the system, you're able to print down, you're able to print everything that you get in the actual course. You're able to print it out, staple it, make up your own system, and then follow within the budget planner, follow the course step by step. And I am planning on doing a live for everyone who's currently taking or has taken the course, to just talk about different things that you can still do within this year, updated, just a live Q&A for any questions that y'all have within the course. How does journaling improve productivity habits and routines? So I believe that journaling can help you in so many different ways. Once I started journaling, the first thing I was able to do is track my overall progress of how I'm doing with my habits, routines, or anything else that I'm trying to do. When I started journaling, I started within my faith planner first. And the act of me journaling alone what helped me to remember all of the other things that I wanted to stay on top of and all of the other things that I wanted to do. So initially, I would literally just journal just what happened the day before. But it also made me very, very conscious of the different things that I was doing, the habits that I had in place. If I was actually managing my time the way that I wanted to, if I was managing my money the way that I wanted to. Now, it does depend on what type of journal that you have, but the journal that I had was basically staying on top of my overall mindset and making sure I was headed in the right direction. So even that negative self-talk, the talk that we all have, if you have a journal and you are writing down your thoughts, if you have to write down the negative thoughts that you have on a consistent basis, if you look at it on another day and you read those thoughts back to yourself when you no longer feel like that, it will instantly trigger you to realize how negative you were being to yourself. And so, one thing journaling helped me to do is it helped me to process my feelings. It helped me to work through and realize the negative self talk that I had so that I could start working on being more positive just across the board with myself, with other people, just being a more optimistic type of person. So, I do feel like journaling on a consistent basis definitely helped me with that, which also helped me to become more productive, to have better habits, to have better routines. Because once I got into the practice of actually journaling on a consistent basis, then I started to easily be able to just add on additional things after I finished journaling. So I would journal and then I would have a cup of coffee and then I would open my planner and then I would work out. But it's like literally it would be one step after the other, one habit after the other, because I was just habit stacking. I was stacking one habit on top of a habit that I had already practiced. All right. So that's how journaling helps me. I feel like it can do so many things for you, but it really helps you with your overall mindset and just getting the thoughts that you have out of your head, putting them on paper so that you can reflect on them later on. Um, I usually have only one envelope with me. Should I take two grocery envelopes when I go shopping? If you find that you normally go over your grocery budget, then I would say take either additional money out of another envelope so that you have more money than you possibly could need. and then replacing that money when you get back home. That's one way you could definitely do it. Or you could take two envelopes. Now, I know depending on how much is in that second envelope, you may not want to take the entire envelope. But if you know you have a tendency to go over when you're grocery shopping, then you may want to take an additional $50, an additional $100, so that you know you have way more than you actually need. And then you can replace that money when you go back. You can replace that money, you can go back. And that would just help you to make sure, like if you know your grocery budget is 250 and you have exactly 250 on you, then you have a tendency to not have enough money. But if you borrow some money at the beginning, and then you can always put it back if you actually stay within your budget. How do you keep track of what planner to look in daily to stay on track daily? So within my planner, I also, the very first planner that I have is my catch-all planner. My catch-all planner is an hourly planner. This is an hourly planner that I use in order to stay on top of my money or my time. And as you can see, it is broken down by the hours. So I have all of the hours on the side here, and then I have all of the different things that I want to do. This section right here, where I have all of the different things that I need to do, is basically the time frame that I need to be in a separate section of my planner. So if I'm looking at anything that I am filming, so let's say I have filming here, the filming would tell me to basically go to the social media section of my planner. And then when I go into the social media section of my planner, I can easily see the different things that I have on here that I need to film. So I have a full list of different things that I need to film, and I have listed everything out. And then I will just say, okay, you need to do these reels, you need to do these YouTube videos. But my first planner, my hourly planner, or my schedule planner is the planner that tells me where I need to go within my other planners at a certain time. Now, they're all in this one book. Remember, my planner is a Franken planner. So all of everything that I need is still in this one section. When I'm talking about other sections that I need to go to, it's just my very first planner tells me when I need to be in another section of my planner. So, if it's time for me to be looking at my faith section, for instance, then I will just say, oh, okay, I need to be faith journaling right now. Let me flip to the faith section. We have a church meeting. Let me flip to my church section. I need to be looking at my budget. Let me flip to my budget section. So the very first planner that I have in here is an hourly planner that tells me what time I need to be in what planner. So it's really like, look at that one first and then flip to the different ones that you need to be at whatever time it's telling you you need to be there. Would journaling and using a habit tracker be redundant? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. So a lot of times I will use a habit tracker just to track if I have done something or haven't done something on a consistent basis. So a lot of times I will look at my habit trackers once I have finished an entire month, and I will say, okay, how many days did you work out this month? And I will quickly look at my habit tracker to see how often I worked out. Because if my goal is to work out at least 3 times a week for an entire month, did I achieve that goal? My habit tracker can quickly answer that question. It quickly answers it. So that's why I love to use the habit tracker. My journal, though, is where I would mostly write out my thoughts about how I'm feeling about something. So if I am working out versus not working out, usually my journal is the place where I can see, okay, what was my mood like? Did I feel like working out? Was I just pushing through it? Did I push through it? Did I just say, forget it? Why did I not work out on this day? It gives me a little bit more of insight into who I am, because I know even with me, I will get on a really, really good streak and then I might plummet and I'll just stop. And then I have to figure out, why did I stop? And I talked about this in my video last week. I think it was Friday's video, where I talked about my overall, how I realized that I would get on a really, really good run with something. Like I would really get into the habit of something. And then if something interrupts that stride that I have going, then it's hard for me to get back on track. So, for instance, in that video, I was talking about working out. I work out consistently. I love to go running. I usually am running in my neighborhood. So, I'm just taking a run. I'm going running for 2 miles. I did this for 7 days consistently, and then I fell off. I noticed on my habit tracker that I fell off, but I couldn't figure out why I fell off, because this was like a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, why did I stop? And my journal was telling me that it was raining. Like it was raining consistently for like 3 or 4 days. And once it started raining and I got out of the habit of going instantly to run, then I just stopped. I just stopped. And so I realized that it was something that was hindering me. So the journaling helps me to realize, like, a lot of times why I did something or what exactly happened. The habit tracker just shows me, okay, yes, you did it, or no, you did not, but I might not get into the why. All right. If I'm in the Organize You and downloaded the planner, do I need the budget on paper course? So you don't, it's not like you need one or the other. Um, the budget on paper course is really like a DIY course that will help you to walk through step by step everything that I have talked about in like videos and different things that I've had. You can definitely still get this kind of information from the Organize You. This is really geared toward people who love to do it on their own time, at their own pace, and just want that step by step process in order to figure out how to use this budget planner that I have set up. So it's not like anything is a must. It is really just based on your learning style and your own preference. Because I had a bunch of people who just wanted, hey, I love all the fluff, but I really just want a step-by-step DIY, something I can do on my own, like without having to call anyone or set up any appointments. I just want the step-by-step process with the actual planner. And that's what this is. That's what this is. Yes. What I feel like with journaling, you really see your growth. You really, really can see your overall growth. Um, Today's work. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Self discipline is what you're truly lacking. Yeah. And we have talked about, if you didn't get a chance to watch Friday's video, I think I talked about 6 reasons why we don't save and we don't stay consistent and we don't. And a lot of that will have to do with like our mindset and the discipline and the rules that we basically haven't set for ourselves. And I talk about it in that video, but the very first reason why we usually struggle with these things is because of fear. We are afraid, deathly afraid of failure. We don't want to fail. I don't want anybody to see me fail. I don't want to even know that I set my own goal and I failed. I don't want to know it, right? So once we can get over that, like, you could try it a million times, and sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not, but it's okay. You just got to keep going for it. And there is no failed state that you're just going to exist in as long as you're continuously trying. And I think that that was the one thing that I realized that helped me to keep getting back up, especially when it came down to budgeting and spending money. Because I tell you, we still to this day will go over our food budget. It doesn't go away. Like, I've been teaching this for at least almost 5 years now, and I still have days where I'm like, man, we went over our budget again. But I'm like, okay, we got to get better, right? And as we go on, we just get better and better and better at it. I don't think there will ever be a day where I'm just like, we won, we're budgeting, we're masters, and we're always doing it well. I don't think that ever is going to exist, but we do fail less. We fail less, meaning that we achieve it a majority of the time. We will hit our goals a majority of the time. Very rarely that we don't anymore. And it's because we just keep trying until we actually succeed. So that's how it helps with us. How do you manage to keep up with habits and goals when life throws you a curveball? I've spent the last 2 years nursing elderly parents and we talked about this as well. I've talked about this in, I want to say a couple of lives ago. When life throws you a curveball, it's time to take notice of just the curveball. It's trying to set up habits and routines and get consistent with a whole bunch of things when life has thrown you a curveball is doing yourself a disservice because you're trying to get a handle on life. If someone passes away, if someone gets sick, if you have a lot on you, then it's not the time to set up new habits and try and set up this new system. It's going to be very challenging. At that time, I feel like your system is to wake up and see what's going to happen in that day, plan day by day, but don't try and set a full system for your life when life has thrown you a curveball. When my kids were small, I didn't do any of this. None of the stuff that I'm talking about. When I had a newborn and a 2 year old, I didn't do any of it. I was saying, okay, today I woke up and I'm pulling out my planner and I'm going to plan today. And then even when I planned today, many of the times I didn't get hardly anything done on my list. It would be a list of three. And if I got one thing done, I was so excited, right? Because in that particular season of my life, it was not a good time to try and set up systems and habits and routines. All I was going to do is frustrate myself. All I was going to do is annoy myself and just upset myself because I was setting this unrealistic goal of trying to set up all of these habits and routines when my life was super unpredictable. When you have a newborn, you cannot predict life. You can't predict how your day is going to go. All your attention is focused on your newborn. So whenever you have a curveball, whenever life throws you a curveball, take time with the curveball. Don't try and plan a bunch of different things around the curveball because it's a curveball. It's not going to help, like it's not going to make it super easy for you to be able to do anything. I take a pause, stop, just get through that particular season, recognize that it's a season, and then there will come a time where you'll come out of that season. When that time comes, then you'll start to say, okay, now I can feel like I'm walking into something else, or I need to, now I can feel like I'm starting to get a pattern to my days. I can start to try and plan and routines and habits again, but not initially when you are going through a curveball. Not then. All right. Um, Sometimes I feel like my planner is so pretty imperfect that my stuff isn't important. That all your stuff is important. Everything that you have to do is super important. Any little thing that you have to do that has to do with you or your family or your life is super important. You should definitely put it in there. You should always put it in there. How many sets of habit and should I work on at a time? For example, I'm on my second week of my AM routine and I need to bring more attention to project planning and task breakdown for work. So this depends. This depends. I usually don't like to have any more than 4 or 5 habits or 4 or 5 things that I'm working on at the same time. Same thing when it goes with my goals, which my goals kind of align with my habits. I usually will try to have no more than 4 for the month of March. I don't have any more than 4. I'm currently working on a reading goal, a financial goal, a business goal, and my workout health goals. Those are the only 4 that I am currently working on. And so I feel as though once you start getting into 5 or more is when you start to feel stretched, like stretched really thin for the different things that you need to do. So I usually will try and keep it at no more than 4 or 5. When it comes down to habits, though, um, the great thing about habits is that once you really get one under control, like you really, really know what that habit is going to be, and you're doing it on a consistent basis, the next thing that usually happens is it becomes easier because you don't have to focus on that habit because you got it, and then you can add on another one. So I would say no more than 4, but after a while, those 4 are going to be super easy for you. You do them all the time, and now you can add in a new one because you already got the other ones. So it was the same thing with my planner. When I first started planning, all I wanted to do is be consistent with my planner. Now I stay in my planner. I'm always in my planner. So it's not even a thought for me to consider it a habit because I've been doing it so long that it's a way of my life. I need it in order to keep going. So I highly recommend that you just continue to add on new ones as you feel like you got the old ones. They're really, really under control. All right. Um, how do you sell the planner that includes the hourly planner, like the black one you just showed? So I will talk about this in my video on Friday, but this planner is like it is made by me, but it is customly put together. So this is multiple planners within one. The front cover that I have is not mine. It is by Notique. And I do have an affiliate link for Notique if you wanted to get this black crop cover. Um, I sell the hourly planner, and I also am adding in a vertical planner, but they're all like separate planners because this is just 1 month of different planners. And I'm going to share with you, how it looks on Friday, but this is 1 month of separate planners. So I do have the 12 months of each one of those, but the hourly planner is a 12-month undated planner that I do have in my Etsy shop. All right. Okay. Last question. I have not funded any of my sinking funds this month yet, waiting until week 4 when all the income is in or bills to pay. I do the exact same thing. So I normally fund my sinking funds the very last week of the month, which is coming up. No, I think I'm gonna do it next week because it's like there's a weird 5th week kind of going on here, and I have an extra payday. So it's going to be next week. But I do the same thing. I wait until all my bills are paid, everything is covered. I make sure, like, see how far we have gone over. Because, like I say, we will still go over on that food budget, especially. So I look at all of those things to make sure that my credit card is paid off, everything is done. And then that last week is where I am funding all of my sinking funds. It's where I'm saving a majority of the money. It is where I am putting money aside for our Roth IRA, making sure I do my $500 contribution to that. I do that on a monthly basis. All of that happens within the last week. So I do the exact same thing. I feel like, it depends if you have more money at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month, how you want to do it. I do wait until the last week of the month and all the bills are paid. And then that's how I make sure. So the classes within, I'm guessing you mean Organize You. They are live. They're on Thursday, and we do them at 6:30 p.m. Now, the Budget on Paper classes that's in the course was live when we did them last year, I believe, but now they're all recorded. But I am planning on doing a live with anybody who has taken the course or is currently taking it to answer any questions. Because I just want to make sure that if you're currently taking a course and you have a question, that I'm still like available to answer any of those, and make sure you still really are understanding the concept behind the budget planner, how to use it, and how to use it with the course. All right. So thank you all so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I really do appreciate you joining me on this live. Remember, if you did not catch the classes or the videos that are coming out this week, so today we just talked about the 7 habits that don't have anything to do with money. On Wednesday, we are talking about, this is going to be a recorded video. It's going to come out at 4 p.m. It's on my regular YouTube videos. What 7 signs that it's time to change your mindset? We're going to dive into 7 things that you need to pay attention to. This is things that you may be doing right now that you really need to pay attention to make sure that you are staying on top of it. Because if you're doing any one of these 7 things, you need to change your mindset. And then Friday, we're going to do a full flip through of my planner, and I'm going to share with you all the things that is currently in my planner, and probably share with you the new vertical style planner that is coming to the shop, because I am going to be doing a vertical planner that's coming to the shop. All right. So thank you all so much. And I will see you all for my Wednesday video. It will be, once again, 4 p.m. Central. Bye, guys. Thank you all.